You know, if you take everything I've accomplished in my entire life and condense it down into one day, it looks decent.
All right, good evening, people. Welcome to another episode of The Decent Show. I'm your host, Ryan Money, joined by other host, Reagan Horton, and we've got an exciting episode for you. Today we actually have a true Decent Show episode, going to go over some new movies, but before we get into that, Reagan, how are we feeling today? How is your gender fluidity?
Very fluid, just very flowing, just very, just a very liquid state,
Mm,
very fluid.
how inclusive of you. Well,
Well, that's how we do it here.
well, I guess before we get into the movies, did you want to do your follow-ups from the last dad episode about, like what makes you angry?
No, I think just upon further review, I'm definitely not going to forget these things that I remembered because they're like literally some of my least favorite things in the world. I don't know. I guess I got like writer's block or something. So I'll just save them and then I don't know. Maybe we'll do another one with Victor, or maybe we'll just do it without him or with someone else. I don't know. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if Jacob's gonna say anything tomorrow about us having Victor on an episode and not him. I don't know if I told Jacob or not. I can't remember. Maybe I already did. Maybe we already covered it. Maybe I was like, hey, don't get mad, but did an episode with Victor.
I'll tell him
So
that he can get on whenever. I don't know. Whenever we can find an arrangement for it, I guess.
yeah.
Maybe before the NBA season starts, we can find some way to get all three of us together to record a sode.
Well, I mean, if not, we can always do it the same way.
Just Skype through ways. Giggity.
Nice. I just go over to his house and me and him Skype in the same room
That's
with
right.
you,
Yeah, he's
kind of
got a
thing.
quiet place over there, or I guess a secure location. I guess.
Yeah, no pets, no parents. I don't think.
That's the way. That's the move right there. Also, dude, we've been doing the show for a year.
Has it really been a year?
It was a year last episode, but I don't know. I forgot about it. I think. But yeah, dude, we did it like right before I think Skyscraper came out, which was like in mid-July.
Oh, dude, it's so depressing. Time flies, and the show has gone nowhere in a year. But
Hell yeah.
actually, that's not true. The show has gone places. I mean, we've added things and some new ideas, and we've made quite a few episodes. And obviously, you've done a lot of work with like the artwork and the editing and the graphics, and then obviously Gamble doing some of the editing and music. So I mean, we've come a long way. But in terms of um, I guess subscriptions and fan interaction. That's been a slow and steady process. I mean, obviously we love interacting with you guys on Twitter, but we actually need you to tweet us something
So we
first.
can get started.
Yeah, so we can really have that
Just
internet conversation.
just think of how far we've come though in terms of gender fluidity.
Yeah, honestly, dude, I was not gender inclusive when we started the show. I think I'm definitely like more in tune. Um, by the way, this episode I will be identifying as a bisexual them. I just want to make that clear for the viewer and clear for you too. That way you know what to identify me as throughout the episode.
We'll never get any sort of viewers if we just keep making fun of very serious issues.
Yeah, no, but like I'm being supportive. You might be making fun of it. So anyway, today's episode is going to be mostly about Sean Hobbs. We're going to touch on maybe some other things that we've been doing or watching. Um, One of them being I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. You saw something that I haven't seen. What was it? I already forgot. Oh, we were going to talk about the Irishman trailer
Yeah.
and some other stuff.
I
So what do we
yeah,
want to
I
do
got some other
first?
stuff. Well, let's talk about the trailer. I just watched it. Martin Scorsese, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Joe Pesci, like just the dream all-star like gangster movie lineup.
Yep.
They're all old, but it is a gangster movie, but it is made by Netflix, so I don't know.
But that's the thing. If they're willing to put it in select theaters just so it can be up for awards, that's got to tell you it's worth a crap, right?
It
Also,
does,
the
but it
story is
doesn't.
pretty epic. The
I
story is pretty epic.
I bet. What is this movie about?
It's about a hitman recalling his possible involvement with the slaying of Jimmy Hoffa. So Jimmy Hoffa is just an infamous, I guess, politician. I didn't realize that, but I guess an infamous mobster or politician or whatever he is. I mean, a lot of these people have multiple titles, but I don't know. Like his murder was never solved, or his body was never found, or both, or something along that fact. They make fun of it in Bruce Almighty, if you remember. Um, Bruce Almighty's reporting, and he has like the guard dog, and the dog like find Jimmy Hoffa's body, and like it's the biggest story ever because you remember
Oh
that?
yeah, that was
Yeah,
hilarious. Just to
yeah,
steal that
exactly.
guy's thunder.
Yeah, just to steal that
Oh,
guy's
that's
thunder,
so good.
he showed up to the crime scene and found Jimmy Hoffa's body, and like gives the dog a bone, and
I
like that's
have
like the biggest
so
thing
much
ever.
respect for that now. That's like, I don't know, it's like a whole new level of how funny that is.
Yeah, oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's basically what this movie's about. This guy is like it's one of those infamous stories. I guess one of those infamous hits in the mob history that's just, just classic mob hit, never solved or never found or whatever. And so actually we're going to see the story on it. But it looks like the only thing that worries me is it says recalls his possible involvement. So it's like they don't even know the true story. So, or it implies that they don't know the full story. So it's like, are they really going to give us the full story, or are they just going to give us something that kind of leaves it open to interpretation? And the reason why I'm also really concerned about it is we'll get more into it, but I just saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and that covers like somewhat real events. Like it's a fictional movie, but it covers like kind of the Manson family and like the murder of Sharon Tate, which is like a real thing.
Hmm.
But like the movie, like totally, like just does nothing with it. Like really doesn't give me like they don't really give you any backstory or any like true information of what actually happened or like the development of the Manson family. Like the Manson family is so underserved, and like Sharon Tate, Margot Robbie,
Hmm.
same Margot Robbie plays Sharon Tate. Anyway, like to me is completely underserved throughout the whole movie, and like it really just didn't give me the story that I wanted out of that part of the movie. And I feel like The Irishman, based on what I'm seeing, could kind of be the same way. Like I really want to learn more about Jimmy Hoffa, and I'm worried that I won't. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that intrigues me. I didn't realize it was that like cool of a story. The only thing that really like causes me is like, yeah, it'll be up for all these awards. It'll probably be up for at least one award or something, because like there's just so much talent in there that it kind of just like I don't know. The awards always seem like kind of BS to me anyway. So like I can see it getting nominated for something. So like it makes sense that they would want to put it in theaters, and it's coming out during like awards season, I guess. Um, but like honestly, like I have no doubt the movie will get that, and it'll probably have like a really good like Rotten Tomato ranking on it or something. But like, am I gonna like it? I don't know, because to me, why did no one want to pick this movie up? Like, why did no one want to make this movie besides Netflix? Like, why didn't Disney or not Disney, but like Warner Brothers or something want to make this movie?
Hmm.
I mean, it's not going to make any money in theaters, but like,
Maybe that's why.
I mean,
Maybe
maybe that's why, but
this style of movie just isn't good for theaters. Like I mean, I couldn't imagine Goodfellas doing necessarily well at theaters, but that's an amazing movie to me. Like I
I
don't
think it
know.
flopped actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like, yeah, that's true, but at the same time, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is one of Tarantino's biggest movies in terms of
Is
money.
it is it really, or are they just saying that?
I looked up the numbers the other day because I was very curious.
But are his other movies that big though? I mean, all of
No,
his
they're
movies
not.
are like epic because he says they're epic, but at the same time, all of his movies are like very serious, very R-rated, and very long. So like, I just can't imagine him tearing up the box office.
I mean, yeah, he definitely doesn't like tear it up, but I mean, he's definitely got some. He's not making nothing, but it's not like he's just destroying everything as well. Yeah, let's see here. So Django Unchained made like 162 million, and this movie so far has made 58 million. It's only had one weekend, but yeah, it's had the biggest opening of any Tarantino movie.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. Again, that just doesn't really impress me. But I mean, because especially like the theaters. I mean, the theaters have about five or like from at least in the ones in Houston. I know every city and whatever is different, but it's like five or six showtimes a day, which is not a lot in comparison
Yeah.
to things like Spider-Man, The Lion King, Marvel, stuff like that. So it's like five or six showtimes a day, and we were in a small theater. Like it was not a very
Yeah.
big theater. Granted, it was pretty full, but like it's easy to fill up a smaller theater whenever like Lion King and Spider Man and Marvel and all this stuff are taking like massive theaters and filling them up for a while.
Well, for context, like 162 million, Hobbs and Shaw will make that this weekend alone, let alone like how long it's going to be in theaters. Like
It's
Lion,
so
I think
crazy.
Lion King made like 500, so like it's going to make Lion King made like 500, like five times
Million.
more than Tarantino's biggest movie did in its entire run.
Oh, okay, good. 500
So
million.
yeah,
Jesus. Um, so just real quick before we get too off topic, I'm reading some of the quick fun facts here on The Irishman, and apparently before accepting the role that Joe Pesci's playing, he apparently refused multiple times to come out of retirement in order to appear in this film. Some sources say the actual number of refusals was 50. So apparently he like really didn't want to do it, but it's because of retirement, maybe not because of the movie. He ended up doing it though, so maybe the movie's worth it to him. Al Pacino said this is what makes no sense to me. Al Pacino said that to him, the process of filming The Irishman was how it felt filming movies in the 1970s. Is that good or bad? It doesn't say. It just says that.
I don't know.
Like, obviously, he did The Godfathers in the 70s, which were great, but, like, he was also salty that he didn't get an Oscar. So, like, is that good or bad? Like, I'm very confused.
I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you though. If we weren't doing this show, if I wasn't friends with you and I know you would watch it or probably make me watch it or encourage me to watch it, or I didn't like, The Godfather or anything like that, like if I just saw this movie coming out and it had, even if it had good reviews, I would not watch it because it's a freaking Netflix movie. So it's like it's just barely got me to like I'm gonna watch it, not because
Well,
like it can't be great, and it might be like amazing, might be the best movie of the year. But I just have zero faith in Netflix. Like I don't like any of their movies really.
well, geez, dude. But I can't disagree because I haven't liked any of their movies either. But I'm going to put my faith in Scorsese and the actors that they can make a movie that at least entertains me and that I'm willing to watch more than once. But yeah, I'm not gonna get my hopes too high for it just because they're so old. Like you said, Netflix. I think I said this off air. I don't know if I said it on air, but I'm worried it could be like The Highwayman with Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson. Like the movie was so slow, like they literally did nothing. It was just two fat old guys like walking around and like eating sandwiches and driving and reading a
Sign me
map.
up.
And yeah, so I'm worried this movie could be similar, but we'll see. They have a what we know so far about the movie. I'm thinking about watching that later, see if I can get any better feel for how that's going to be. And apparently, The Rock is going to do the Black Adam movie. I guess that's like confirmed here. They have a video of him talking about it.
It's not confirmed.
Oh, it's in pre-production.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly. No, not confirmed.
not confirmed, bro.
Hey,
Well, it says in the IMDb thing his upcoming Black Adam movie.
yeah, I know, but I mean, like, do you ever recall back in the day where like you went through IMDb and you saw things for like Spider-Man 4?
Yeah, and Rush Hour 4.
Yeah, things that never came. Like, it's just there because it's like something that is being like worked on, but it isn't like to me until I see like a set photo or something, or a trailer preferably, but at least a set photo. Like I don't believe any movie is coming out. Like because I feel like we heard about like the Batman movie like 5 years ago, and it was like getting started or something.
Yeah,
It just takes
you
forever.
really hung up on the Batman movie. I'll tell you that.
Bro, Batman is fucking awesome, and why we haven't had a Batman movie in like 7 years when we got three great ones, I don't understand.
Too much work. Um, Yeah, no doubt. Rush Hour 4 is still marked as like it's still on IMDb
Don't do
with
it.
Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, and says the production status is in development. So I guess that's still nowhere. You don't think they should do it?
No. There's no
What if
way it can
it's
be good. There's no way it can be good.
what if they write something good? Wouldn't that be amazing though?
No, it really wouldn't because I don't know, like there's like one or two movies maybe that have come out 10 years later that are like comedies and they've worked, and a large portion of that movie is really entertaining because of like their energy and their like kind of sass towards each other and Jackie Chan's kung fu and stuff, and like they're old now. There's nothing that can be done about that. Like they can't be the same way.
I mean, stunt doubles and good acting and writing and whatnot. Yeah, no, hopefully they don't do it. Let's see. Okay, so we've covered The Irishman. Screw that movie. Anyway, I
Yeah,
hope it's good.
agreed.
I finally watched a couple of things that Victor loaned me. I watched the Justice League like TV pilot episode. That was, it was whatever. And then watched. It was good. I mean, it's fine.
Show's so
It's
good, dude.
just, I mean, the show's good, but it's just like the pilot episode. I don't have access to the whole show. And then I watched Gotham by Gaslight, which is like a DC animated movie,
Yeah.
Batman, and it was pretty good. I was surprised. It was about like, have you seen it?
Yes.
Where he's fighting Jack the Ripper.
Yep.
Oh, okay, good. So yeah, I don't know. I thought that was like it was a little slow considering it's like a short movie. Like there were parts where I was like, okay, like I don't really care about any of this, and then the action was pretty good, and then like I was pretty blown away that like Jack Ripper was Commissioner Gordon, and like that was all pretty weird, and he was like doing some messed up stuff. The only thing that I like found funny and like stupid is like literally women could do no right. Like even his wife was apparently the worst of them all. Apparently, like he's killing whores in the street, and the next thing you know, he's killing a nun, and then he's like beating up and talking shit about his wife. So it's like, what woman is good enough? Like, what made him marry the woman that he married if like literally even she's wrong? Like I don't know. Like it's kind of crazy. Like how much he hated women and like no woman could do right. Like it didn't. He's like that nun whore, and I was like, that's like a contradiction. Like I don't. How can a nun be a whore? Like this lady's helping people, and like he hates her for it. I don't know. That was
That's hysterical.
hilarious.
I'm glad you took
Yeah.
that away from it.
Yeah, that's like I don't know, dude. Like even because he was like, "What about your wife?" And he's like, "Wives are the worst of them all." And I was like, "This guy's insane." Like what? Like it just made no sense. I mean, honestly, he's kind of a hero of mine, but like it still didn't make any sense.
That's pretty epic, dude. I like your take on that movie. What else you watch?
Well, I got like I told you off air, I got a whole list like just ready to go on Prime and Plex. So I'm kind of hoping to dive on into that here pretty soon, just because um, my folks will be going back to work and stuff, and so I'm kind of hoping I'll have like some days where I can like maybe watch some stuff during the day, like while applying for jobs or something, and like just get a bunch of stuff watched. But right now it's been slow. I'm probably not going to watch anything tonight since we're going to record this episode, and I'm probably going to have to go to bed because tomorrow's definitely a big day. Yard's getting out of control.
Yes.
It's been like a whole week, so it's getting crazy. And yeah, Gotham by Gaslight though. What's crazy is like I almost enjoyed that movie more than I enjoyed the two movies we're about to review.
That does not
So
surprise me.
yep. So what else you got before we kind of get into this nitty gritty?
So I've been watching. I watched all of Stranger Things season 3.
Thank God.
Show's great. Show's phenomenal.
So it's still great. Like season 3 wasn't a letdown.
To me, it's the best season
Okay. Well, that's good.
because all the kid actors are better at acting now. The girl is way more powerful, so like her powers are way more badass when she uses them, and like the CGI still looks pretty good, and I don't know. And it was like a shorter season too. I think it was like 8 or 9 episodes, and I think the other two were like 12 or something like that. So it was like really no fat on it at all. I was really just like every episode was very entertaining, and there was some decent twists and some surprising. It was a surprising end to it too. Like it was a very weird end to the show, like to the season. And it was
Do you
like I
think
don't
there's
know.
any chance? Sorry,
I don't
you
know.
don't
Like
know.
I didn't like live in the '80s, but I love how much they like lean into the '80s, like how much it's like the '80s. Like it's just weird to me. Like I just they nail like every little thing, like this Coke and like the design of these logos and like the obsession with the mall and like the way they all dress and like they even in the show they're in a movie, they like sneak into a movie and it's um like Back to the Future, and I can tell that and like it shows them watching Back to the Future, so you see like some Back to the Future footage, and it's like the footage that was like in the '80s. Like um, it's not like touched up or anything like that. It's just it's just the raw thing. Like it doesn't have any like modern day special effects added to it. Like it was the original cut of it. And I was like, that's like really cool that they went to that detail.
Okay, I respect that. They kind of did some of that in Hollywood as well, kind of like really taking it back to that nostalgia to kind of take you there. But do you think there's any chance? So it sounds like you love this show. A lot of people love this show.
Yeah,
Is there any chance that if I gave it a try that I'd like it?
yeah,
What do you think I have a better chance of liking, this show or Game of Thrones?
easily the show,
Easily.
easily because there's like one scene in particular. Like I hope you like the show like on its own. But if you could get to this one scene, I know you love it because it's like the most random and like mean thing ever. Like it's just so great. It's this
I
one
love it
kid.
already.
This one kid's like a douchebag, and like his dad is just a piece of shit, like drunk. Like and his dad like comes in there and just like rants on him, and it is hilarious because he's saying such mean and just just so many random insults towards him and like hits him, and it's just hilarious. Like,
And I would love that. I
yeah,
would
you
love
would
a dad.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
very like The Departed esque of just like yelling and cursing and random insults.
Yeah, you're right. I love that. Okay.
But that's
Well,
not the whole show. I think you'd like this
it's
show
not the
better.
whole show. What?
Yeah, I know. We can't.
Disappointing.
Yeah,
Can't all be home runs.
yeah, can't all be home runs. But I don't know. Like, well, for one, it's way, way, way shorter and way faster in terms of just pace
Whoa,
than Game of
you know I
Thrones.
like slow and long.
Anyway, so it's like way less for you to watch there, and then like I don't know, I just feel like it's more accessible because I don't know, it's not like they don't have to explain every little like you don't have to deal with the first like season of Game of Thrones where you don't know who anyone is by name and you don't know what is magic and what are these dragons and what's the big deal about this or that or the
Oh,
other.
there's no dragons till like season 7.
Exactly. So it's just like, why are we talking about them?
Exactly.
I don't know. I think you should maybe give it a shot one day.
Well, let me get through my other list first, and by then they'll probably have Stranger Things like spin off number 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the next one is the last one. I think.
You really think they're only gonna do 4 seasons?
Yeah, because they take like 2 years to make them. So like, I don't know. Maybe that's why they're so good. It's because they take so long to make like 8 hours worth of footage. I don't know.
Well, that could explain it. Like sometimes that helps the Assassin's Creed series and other games if they just like take their time and put out some quality. I think that's what they said about. God, what movie is getting a sequel that like pisses me off? There's a bunch
you
right
have
now.
to really narrow it down, dude.
Yeah, there's a bunch right now, but it's like off the top of my head, it's like the Top Gun movie, Jay and Silent Bob,
Maverick. Yeah.
God, what's the other one?
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah, they're like it's a reboot of that, and then
I don't like
Bill and Ted 3, and Zombieland 2. That's the other one.
Yeah. Did you watch the trailer for Zombieland 2?
Yeah, I saw it today at the theater, and it looks, I don't know, looks whatever. I still haven't technically seen the first one. And then What was it though? I think I read an article on Zombieland 2 saying that like the director just it
Yeah,
took him 10 years to come up with like a good script.
yeah.
It's like, okay, well I hope it's good then because because now you're saying it took you 10 years to come up with this. So it's like
I gotta take
either
umbrage with that. Like, it should like take your time. It should not take you 10 years to pick a script.
well, and the other thing too is like you're just putting yourself out there. You're like, yo, man,
This is the
like
best.
you should, yeah, this, well, that or you should, yeah, you're either saying that you should have never made the second one because it took you 10 years to agree on something, and then this is what you agreed on, so it either better be good, otherwise you just, I don't know, made yourself look really stupid because you decided after 10 years this was going to be it, and it sucked. So,
That movie's not gonna be good. Although, like,
you don't think so?
I don't love the first one. I'm not really big into zombie movies, honestly. The first one's
Yeah.
good to me. It's like it's whatever. Like I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't say it's terrible. It's just sort of a movie. And then like this one, like there's some funny stuff in the trailers, but at the same time, I'm like I don't know. Like I don't really care.
I feel you. Well, ooh, yeah, yeah, I saw that trailer though. You're right. Yeah, I don't really care, and it doesn't look like there's much of a story. It's like, yo, we gotta get this person, and they're way over there. So to get there, we're gonna run into a random cast of characters and kill a bunch of zombies. Like, I don't know. It doesn't look like anything special to me. But I still need to go see the first one. But we're almost at the 30-minute mark, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump into Hollywood really quickly, so we can actually get into Hobbs and Shaw because I know we both have a ton to say.
Yeah.
So on Hollywood, to me, to me, it's definitely one of those movies that the critics love and people generally don't. Even though most of the user reviews I saw on IMDb were overly positive, but one of them was like literally I saw it in the camera that it was supposed to be shot in at like an opening party for Tarantino, and Tarantino was there or something. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, if you didn't like it, then that's crazy. But real quick, before I get too deep into it, what is like whenever the like Tarantino is bragging about shooting in 35 mm and 70 mm, what does that mean?
MM is an abbreviation for millimeter.
So like he's shooting in a what's the big deal about shooting in a 35 and 70 millimeter camera? Like what do people normally shoot in?
He's using film. He's using physical film, like instead of just using a digital
Camera.
IMAX camera.
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
That's it.
Okay, so to me that's the problem, or that's what, or like that's not the problem. Sorry, that's why like critics love all this shit. Like all these technical people who are like in the business, they like eat this movie up because he's like stroking their cock. But in terms of like just your average fan that doesn't know anything, like you're just looking at like the movie and you're just like, yo, this movie's kind of whack. And so like I didn't want to have that. So this is all like, I know all of this is going to be a contradiction, but I was excited for the movie because of the cast and the potential it had. Just based on what I saw in the trailer and the plot description, I didn't want to get my hopes up. I was expecting to be disappointed because it's a Tarantino movie and I've never been crazy about his movies, and this one was a long one. But I was also trying to be positive and open-minded, I just wanted to, no matter what, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to just automatically love it or automatically hate it. I was just trying to be open-minded and watch the movie and take it all in. And so there was so much focus on, like, cinematography and shots and angles and, like just all this camera work. You could just tell, like, there's just so much focus on it, and it just eats up so much time. Like, literally, you're just like, do we really need to see her do this? The only thing I will say to that effect, though, is what's amazing about Hollywood and Hobbs and Shaw they're both polar opposites of each other to me in terms of like style of movie and like quality of movie, because like Hobbs and Shaw to me is honestly like one of the worst cut movies I've ever seen. Like to me, like just some of the cuts and the jumps from scene to scene were just so like forced and like awful.
I'm so
Where this
excited,
movie,
dude. Please get through this review. I'm so excited.
okay,
I'm so ready.
so yeah, okay, so like it was like some of the worst I've ever seen, but this movie is like focused on nothing but that. So like, everything is super cool and like super smooth, and you're like, wow. But like again, it's 2 hours and 40 minutes of it. There's only so many camera shots that I can look at. Like literally, they had like 10 different shots of people driving their cars. Like they had like these cool like backseat shots of like Leo and Brad driving the car, but we saw it like 6 times. So it's like, dude, like just move on. Um, it was so long. There was no story. Like nothing happens. They're just living their life. Like literally, it's like the whole movie takes over the span of like 2 or 3 days.
I hate
Or
that.
no, it's like 2 or 3 days, but like they have like a 6 month jump at like the end of the movie. But still, like everything it like doesn't take that long, but the movie takes forever. A lot of build up, like a lot of suspense in certain scenes with like super underwhelming results. Like literally again, like you're like, oh shit, what's about to go down? Like this is kind of tense. Like especially with the Manson family and Brad Pitt, he like gets involved with them kind of throughout the movie, and it just kind of keeps building. But literally, like almost nothing happens until the very end of the movie. Like the last scene or the last 30 minutes are epic, but everything before that is just so underwhelming. And like all the positives about it that people are jizzing about is like the acting and the dialogue. Like there's a lot of good acting and dialogue in there, especially by Leo and Brad. Like a lot of character development, a lot of stuff that I'm always harping that other movies don't have, but this is like all this movie has. Like there's nothing else. It was sort of funny and interesting. It was sort of funny and interesting, and like I said, I was trying to be open-minded. I thought Leo was like a really interesting character. And I mean that in like a very neutral way, as in I don't know if it was like I loved it or if I didn't really care for it, because he had like a weird Western accent throughout the movie, and I couldn't tell if that was something that his character actually had or if that it was something his character was pretending to have because he frequently acted in Western movies. Like he was like a Western movie actor, Western TV actor. So I don't know. The accent kind of threw me off. Brad Pitt's character was like super mellow and quiet throughout like the first hour or so, but as his character develops, he's like really interesting, and he has like a really great backstory that they kind of like brush over. And then he has like three of the coolest scenes, like basically the three most exciting parts of the movie involve him, which there are like basically the only three action parts. And then at one point in the movie, Leo's character, he shot 4 movies in 6 months in Italy. Like, is that even possible? You know what I mean? Because you said it takes like 2 years for them to make a movie nowadays, and I know this is like in 1969, so I don't know how long it took them to shoot movies back then, but like 4 movies in 6 months seems awfully quick, no?
Yeah, that's awfully quick. He can maybe do it because he's the actor. It takes like 2 years to make these movies because of all the special effects and editing and all that. It takes a lot of time to generate those graphics and stuff. Like, so back then there's obviously not a lot of graphics, so like most stars are only on set for like I would say like a few months or so, and then like nowadays we do like reshoots and stuff, so they're on set for more. So that's like cutting it close, but I guess that's somewhat realistic.
Okay. I know The Rock basically has that kind of work ethic, but anyway,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
bet
know, I
The
made
Rock
note
does
of
something
that.
like that. So he'd have to be something like The Rock.
Yeah, I mean, what, The Rock's doing like the Titan TV show where it's like the contest or whatever. He's doing another season of Ballers. He's done ridiculous amount of movies. Like if you look at the amount of movies he's done in like the last 2 or 3 years, like most of them are
Nuts.
bad, but like it's a lot of movies. Okay, so anyway, like I mentioned earlier, tons of like just shots of them doing stuff, and you're just like, okay, but like nothing's happening. Um, a lot we had to do. There was a lot of like us as the viewer watching the characters like watch TV or movies.
Hmm.
Like they were doing a lot of watching, so we're watching them watch. Like it's kind of annoying. Again, I thought the ending was fantastic. I mean, really, that's like the whole point of the movie. But like the end of the movie kind of brings in the Manson family. Like it kind of like they're kind of peppered in throughout.
Hmm.
But like Manson himself was like literally non-existent. He's in the movie for like less than 5 minutes, and it's in one scene, maybe a scene and a half if you want to get technical. But in reality, it's literally a scene, and it's kind of annoying that they would do that because like his cult people are like super crazy, but you don't see any interaction between Manson and his cult family. And like again, he himself is like not in the movie, doesn't have any creepy or cool dialogue whatsoever. Um, and his motives are kind of explained through his cult people. or they're not even explained. Like they just like say him. They're like, yeah, we're here to do this because he told us to. Like they literally give him no motives.
Mm-hmm.
So like to kind of ruin it for you, they like the one scene that Manson's in. He like walks up to this house.
You know what?
And
Don't
what?
ruin this for me.
Okay.
Because you've talked me into it. Like I want to see it now.
Oh, okay, cool. So anyway, but okay, so again, I'll try not to spoil it because it sounds like so far I haven't really spoiled anything. I've just kind of covered what I like and don't like. But anyway, Manson's like non-existent. They give him little to no motives, and like one of the people I saw the movie with like is familiar with like the Sharon Tate murder, which was done by the Manson family. And kind of how that all went down, and she like explained it, and I was like, yeah, that gives him a motive, like that explains that. Like, why would they not put anything like that in the movie? And so basically, overall, I thought it was a cool movie, but it was slow, underwhelming, and I would have liked more or less of the Manson Tate like backstory, because like if they would have had more of it, if it was better explained and like more utilized and less of like Leo's acting career, because Leo plays an actor in the movie. So if it was like more of the Manson stuff and like more development there and more explanation there, and take away a little bit of that Leo acting, or I guess make the movie longer if you really freaking have to, or just get rid of it. Like just focus more on Leo and Brad Pitt and kind of give them something else. But like, it was supposed to be about like a different alternative to the Manson Tate story, and like the ending again was cool, but like they could have done so much more with everything before that. So ideally, I would have liked more of it. I say more or less, but preferably more of it, just to give it some better explanation. And plus, like most of their stuff was like the coolest and creepiest parts of the movie, and there just wasn't a ton of it in there. But like I said, both movies had a ton of like, oh my god, I can't believe the movie has time for this. Like CinemaSins kind of harps on that. He'll be like, movie has time for this. Like I was saying that throughout both movies. Like throughout both of them, I was like, yo, we don't care.
Who'd you see this movie with?
I saw Hollywood with my mom and my godmother.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it was kind of crazy. Like, really, it was just language in the movie. There wasn't really like anything like nothing too sexual, like no sex scene or anything like that. And the cussing wasn't as bad as Wolf of Wall Street, like, or anything like that. There's still quite a bit though. Like Leo goes off on a few tangents. But yeah, for Hollywood, honestly, dude, like I don't even know what to rank it. Like overall as a movie, since like everyone's jizzing their pants about it, I feel obligated to give it a decent. But my feeling immediately after the theater, like I was definitely thinking low-key Garbo or worse.
Yeah, well, I mean, like honestly, if you look on like,
what's the Rotten Tomato score?
84.
That's ridiculous. That's like the same as the IMDb score is 8.5 and 85 or whatever. Like it's like in the 8. It's high, bro.
But
like it's just
the audience rating, the popcorn thing is like 71%, and that's like the lowest one on here. Like that Crawl, that movie with the crocodiles, has a higher one. Stuber has a higher one.
Oh, okay.
Godzilla has a higher one.
That's insane.
Dark Phoenix has a lower one. Detective Pikachu has a higher one. Like, I mean,
if Stuber has a higher one, that's really saying something because that movie looks like dog shit.
Yeah, and it probably was. So I think you're in sort of the majority, or you're in good company. Like it seems like a lot of people are kind of on it.
It's just so underwhelming. I think that's really what everyone probably hates about it. Like even if they don't put it to words, like it's just amazing how you're just like sitting there and like I don't know, like I think my mom and my godmother were kind of like they claimed they were getting kind of like dozing off, like they're getting kind of bored. But like I was paying attention, like I was drawn in the whole time, but like nothing ever happened. And I think that's just and it's a really long movie. Like literally in the middle of the movie, like a super intense scene is happening with Brad Pitt and like the Manson family, and he is like doing his thing, and the Manson family basically is like, yo, like go get this guy and tell him to come down here and like help us out. Like basically you think like it's gonna be a showdown, like a fight or something. And like literally, and Brad Pitt's got a flat tire, and he's making one of the Manson family members like change his tire because they're the ones that popped it. And so they like go get the other guy like by horse because that's all they have. And so they like go get him, and the dude on the horse is like, "Oh shit, I'm coming," and he's like coming back, and you're like, "Oh shit, it's about to go down," and I'm about to pee my pants, so I'm like waiting for like a moment to like get boring again so I can go to the bathroom, and I'm like, I can't go right now, like this is about to go down. And like literally the dude on the horse like shows up, and I'm like, oh, he's about to show up on Brad Pitt. And then it literally cuts to Brad Pitt driving away, like he had got away, and like literally nothing happened. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? And so I like got up and went to the bathroom and came back and looked at my mom, and I was like, well, did I miss anything when I went to the bathroom? Because that was so underwhelming. I figured something crazy would happen.
Uh-huh.
As soon as I went to the bathroom, and she's like, nope. Sharon Tate just walked around and sat down on the bench and looked at the sky, and I was like, oh, okay, great. Like literally nothing happened while I was gone.
So it's a great bathroom movie.
Yeah, dude. I only took one bathroom break. I peed before the movie started, and I had to pee in the middle of it, and so I didn't miss anything, and yeah, it was just crazy. Like I don't know.
All right. Well, I
It
also
was a
saw
movie.
I saw The Lion King as well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I won't be super brief on it because I don't really have a ton of thoughts on it, but it really made me appreciate Aladdin a lot more. Mainly
Oh, because
because
they didn't do that good on this.
honestly, no. Honestly, it was just like I don't have a lot of love for like the original movie because I don't really remember it. I feel like that was a phase where I just sort of watched anything, and then I think I got older and I went away from it, I guess. Like I don't know why, but I distinctly remember watching like Aladdin and like I don't know, even Lilo and Stitch and stuff. Like just I don't know, I remember other Disney movies way more, so I feel like I just never watched the original that much. So I don't have like a ton of love for it, but like I don't know, it was just like it was kind of an awkward movie, honestly. I just feel like none of the humor worked, and I kind of have some beef with. I mean, I think it was like well cast, but it just bothered me like to hear Seth Rogen be like an animal in a PG movie. Like it was just very weird. I was like, it's a weird choice, and to hear Childish Gambino be like Simba, I was like, this is weird. And then
Did it not work?
and Beyonce is like
See,
the
that's what I'm saying. You said it's a good cast, but I like looked at the cast and I was like, yo, I feel like they were like, who's the most popular right now that we can throw in this movie? And like that's the cast that they picked. Like I don't know, like literally right off the bat, it's Donald Glover, Beyonce, and Seth Rogen, and I feel like none of them really. I can hear all of them doing their roles, and like none of it sounds good to me. None of it sounds natural.
no, it wasn't really. And I don't know. There's just a lot of like childish, like there. It just wasn't. I don't know. Like I feel like when I was watching Aladdin, I was like, yeah, this is for kids, but this is still like a movie. You know, like I feel like I'm entertained and I'm not really bored. And like there's some scenes that are kind of cool. Like I don't know. I could see myself watching this again, or if it was on TV, I would probably catch the end of it or something. Like and then watching The Lion King, I'm like. Man, this is like it just seems very kiddie because all the jokes are very lazy and just sort of half baked and I don't know, it's just very weird. And like Beyonce has I don't even know the original movie that well, but I looked it up afterwards and I was right. Like I can tell that Beyonce had like her own song, like special song that wasn't in the original, like the only song that was different from the original. And I could
Yeah,
tell when that was because it was such an awkward part of the movie because it was like right before the climax, and it was just like the lion walking across like the desert and everything, and it was just like a very weird time to have it. I don't know, and it's just weird to see animals sing and stuff too. That's just weird.
yeah. I was wondering how that was gonna work. Like I didn't understand why this movie needed to be live action, but still, like I don't know. It's weird.
I don't really get it either, honestly. Like I feel like I mean I give it
Dis-
a low-key Garbo just because I didn't really enjoy it, but it's not really for me. So I mean, what do I care?
I mean, bro, you make or break these movies.
I do.
Like
My
people
opinion
are following.
matters.
People are following the Decent Show at Decent Show on Twitter, um, and like we make or break stuff.
Yeah, like if we don't like it, like it's gonna bomb.
So when would you see Hollywood? Are you gonna see it in theaters? Or are you gonna try to see it out of theaters?
I'm gonna try to see it out of theaters, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, it sounds stupid, and I don't have a leg to stand on, but I just don't want to be in the theater that long and watch that movie. And even though I've seen the same movie that's even longer multiple times, like, I just can't do it. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know.
Well,
Maybe that movie broke
seen the
me.
same. You've seen the same. Oh, Endgame.
Yeah, I've seen Endgame, which is longer.
I was wondering what movie you were talking about, and I was like, oh, Endgame. That's right. But yeah. Um, no, I don't blame you.
Which
I'm
is
sure it'll
wild when you think about it. Like, I
streamable.
won't see a shorter movie that I haven't seen, but I will see a movie that I have seen again in theaters. Like, we went and
Well,
saw
this.
Spider-Man back-to-back days.
Yeah, but it was a good movie.
Yeah,
It
movie's
was
pretty
only
good.
2 hours. Well, and plus this movie though, I mean, they did it for Hateful Eight. Maybe not immediately, I guess, on Hateful Eight, but like it'll be on a streaming service probably as soon as it can be, just because it's a Tarantino movie. Like somebody's gonna get it, like Prime or
Yeah,
Netflix or Hulu.
and
Somebody's
it'll be
gonna get
quick
it.
too because it won't be in theaters that long because it won't make that much money.
Exactly. So I don't know, dude. There were so many people in the theater too, and like it was funny. Like it had funny parts, and maybe if I saw it with you, I'd find it funnier. But at the same time, like I still think no matter what, I'd feel the same about this movie as what I described, and I'm just gonna give it a decent. I don't know, just because it's the safest bet to give it. Because what's crazy is I'm willing to rewatch it, so to me that can't be low key Garbo. Because if it was
Sure.
low key Garbo, I'd just let it go.
Maybe you don't know yet, like some movies you just don't know after seeing it one
I
time.
And that's what makes the movie intriguing is like you don't know how you feel about it, and I've been talking about it all day. So like at the same time, like is the movie accomplishing a goal by doing that? By having me think about it and talk about it all the time?
Maybe.
Says something. But yeah, Jacob had invited me to see Lion King. He and his girlfriend and another friend had gone to see it, and they had invited me, and I just couldn't make. Or that's what he had texted me. He was like, "You want to go see Lion King?" And I was like, oh, I'm not free today, but to be honest with you, man, I have no interest in seeing that movie. And he was like, that's fine, I understand. And I saw him like a day or two later, and he's like, yeah, we saw it, it sucked. I was like, nice. Or he didn't say it sucked. I think he said it was whatever, but still, um, I'm definitely glad I didn't see it based on what you and him have said about it.
Yeah, I mean, it really just, I don't know. Like, to me, honestly, it was almost a positive thing because, like, now I really appreciate, like, Toy Story 4 and Aladdin just for being entertaining movies.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Whenever you were talking about how bad Lion King was and how like it just didn't land and it was kind of awkward, and I was like, yeah, it's crazy. Like you feel that way about that movie, but then like Toy Story 4, pretty solid movie, honestly.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Um,
Sometimes I just like animated too. Like I don't want to see live. Like it's hard enough seeing a kids movie. I don't want to see a live action kids movie. Like I'd rather it just be animated.
yeah, I agree. All right, let's get on
So
this main
Hollywood,
topic, dude. Let's get on to
yeah,
this review.
I know, dude.
Spoilers.
Yeah, seriously, you're taking forever. So
Whoa.
I saw it the first showing I could. I can't believe it. I didn't think I was going to see this movie at all, and I saw it the very first showing available.
Wow.
But it's definitely the polar opposite of Hollywood for a number of reasons. So where do you want to start with this movie? Are you going to just kind of dig into what you hate and kind of pepper in positives, or because that's probably what I'm going to do.
I I'm gonna bake you a nice huge cake of hatred, and I'm gonna sprinkle in a couple of things I didn't mind. Um,
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. I'm gonna hit you with the thing that hit me when I was leaving the theater about like, how am I gonna sum this up? Because I really wasn't sure. Like it was kind of like a Hollywood movie. Like I was like, how do I feel about this? But honestly, like this is what I thought coming out. I was like, this movie almost tricks me into thinking it's good.
Yeah,
That's the way I feel about it.
I can agree with that.
Because I don't know, dude. Like I was not. I mean, full disclosure, like I really didn't want to see this movie in terms of like the time. Like the timing was really bad. But I couldn't really get out of it because I had to be somewhere at 7 o'clock and I got off work early, so I had just enough time to squeeze it in. And I was like, yeah, wow, no problem. Like I'll do it. Um, so I was like, yeah, like I'll just go see it in between. And like I was honestly, I was tired. But as soon as the movie started, like the music's playing, like it's getting me hyped, like it's showing me this heist basically, and I was like, dude, I'm actually in on this. Like, this could be a good, like, this is gonna be a really fun movie.
Yeah.
And it never really got from there. Like, it just never really kicked into any other gear, and it never really became anything of what I feel like it should have. Honestly, like, it just sort of, I don't know. It depressed me in a lot of ways. Like, I was like, these are my favorite. I guess favorite characters from the Fast and Furious franchise, and they're in a movie together, and there's none of that other stupid BS getting in the way.
Yeah.
But they're not making it work. So like, why now? I don't want to see the next Fast and Furious because I'm like, how could they make that work? Because they're not going to have these two guys in it, and
Yeah.
these two guys are the best part to me, and they're not doing good in their movie. So like, it's just a double whammy to me of just
Yeah.
eh.
I could not agree more because yeah, these two guys. I mean, I like these two guys outside of the Fast and Furious franchise, and yeah, they're my favorite in the franchise. And like you said, didn't really work for their movies. So what's the other movie going to look like? But oh god, what was it? They just. I think that's what you're saying. So like the Fast and Furious movies, like considering how ridiculous they are,
Some of them are really good.
some of them are really good, and they actually try to kind of really like, I mean, granted, the stories are generic action movie stories, but they still put in the effort to write a story and make things happen and just kind of have nice scenes moving along. Like, this movie felt like Grown Ups too. They were just like, yo, if we put this money and these actors here, like,
People will
screw
see
writing.
it,
People see it, yeah, like, screw
and
writing a story. We'll just put scenes together. We're gonna stand over here and shoot some one-liners and throw some punches, and then we're gonna wait till nighttime and go over here and do the same thing, and then we're gonna
and then
go over
some dude in
here
the
and have
back of the
this.
boardroom's like, "Sir, you don't want a story at all." And he's like, "Johnson, if you ever backtalk me again, I'm firing your ass." Like,
Yeah, he's like, no story. Nothing happens. Well, something happens. Nothing happens. Yeah, so yeah, they just they said screw the story, and I feel like that's where I guess the Fast and Furious part was missing is the fact that they write a story. I guess they were just like, yo, it's a spinoff. Like, let's just give them all tits and guns and punching and The Rock and one-liners and insults and throw in Kevin Hart and we'll be fine. Like, we don't need to write a story. And in the end product, you get a bad movie. And it was 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's really not that long of a movie, but it felt like forever, dude. It felt like there were 3 finales. Every time I was like, oh, this, because I wouldn't look at my phone for this movie and for Hollywood. I refused to check the clock because I didn't want to know
how
how
much was
long it had
left?
been. Yeah, exactly. I hate doing that. I hate being like, oh god, this movie still has an hour. Like, kill me now. And so I didn't do that. And so every time I was like, yo, this has got to be the finale. And then it wouldn't be. And then, like, 2 more times after that, the finale finally happened.
Hmm.
And then it still wasn't over. And I was like, oh my god. And then 3 or 4 post credit scenes, like, oh my god.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
You didn't stay?
No.
Dude, they had like, I think in total, the internet said 4. I only counted 3, but maybe it's because they did the first 2 like on top of each other. But it technically had 4 scenes after the movie was over.
Huh.
All of them worthless, like awful, dude. I could not get out of the movie quick enough. I was like looking at Victor. I was like, dude, let's get out of here. He's like, nah, dude. According to the internet, there's still like 2 more post credit scenes. And I was like, dude, they could be setting up how they kill Thanos. I still want to get the hell out of here. Like, I just don't care anymore. Like, it's just, I feel like the post credit scenes were basically like deleted scenes. Like, they didn't even set up anything. Like, I feel like they were just like, yeah, we don't know if we're gonna make a sequel because this
So
movie kind
what
of
happened in
sucks.
these post-credit scenes? Let's start at the very end of the movie in this review. That'll work.
Yeah, I'm gonna start from the end and then kind of jump to the beginning and kind of sprinkle in parts from the middle
The other
and then back.
guys.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so anyway, um, I don't even remember them. Like, one of them was literally 2 of them. Two of them were like The Rock and Ryan Reynolds talking,
Uh-huh.
and
I saw
Ryan
that.
Reynolds. Oh, okay, so you did see him then,
Well, just that. I just saw
where
that one.
they're like talking and he stabs the guy with the brick.
Nope. Didn't see
Okay,
that.
that's the second round then. So on the second round, I guess Ryan Reynolds is like, "Oh man, I'm in some shit. You gotta help me." And then like the second post credit scene, he's like, "Nah, never mind, man, I'm good." And he's like covered in blood. He's like, "Yeah, everybody's dead, man. Like, hey, I stabbed the guy with the brick. Turns out it's not that hard. Yada 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 yada." And so, and it was just a bunch of that. Like, just I mean, it didn't really set up a sequel. It was supposed to be funny, I guess. Most of it like didn't land, and I was like, this is a huge waste of time. Like, I like almost risked a kidney to watch deleted scenes that didn't make this crappy movie. But yeah. Sorry, I've been ranting for a minute. What what else you got here?
Wow. I don't know.
Wow,
Jumping.
wow, what?
I just, man, it was quite a butt whooping you through that movie.
Oh,
Just,
it gets worse.
just jumping back into the movie. Right off the bat, like I really liked the first song they played, like and just in
Okay.
terms of tone and the way it worked with the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was good. It got me like hyped. I was ready. Every music choice after that, I really hated. Honestly, I don't
What was the
understand.
first song?
I don't know. I don't remember. Well, it was like I think it was like if I could capture time in a bottle or something.
Oh, okay.
But it was like a weird cover of it. But it just worked with the way they were shooting it. It was like kind of eerie, but kind of hyped at the same time. Like I don't know. Like I was just really down for that. And I really don't want to mention the music choice in a movie because it doesn't really matter. But after that, every song they played bothered me. Like I hated whatever choice they made. It just seemed weird.
Yeah, well, that's because I feel like over these years, since they keep making more Fast and Furious movies, they kind of, a lot of times they have like a soundtrack where like people are making original songs, or
Hmm.
sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But like no matter what, they're using like just like generic like pop songs, whether it be like hip hop or R&B or like
Yeah.
Latino pop or whatever they're doing now. Like they always have like that weird stuff. Yeah, because I think the second song was like a Logic song, and I like Logic and I liked the song, but it didn't fit in the movie. I was just like, ugh. It
Hmm.
was where The Rock and his daughter were sitting at the diner about to
Yep.
meet Ryan Reynolds.
Yep. Uh, I don't know. It really bothered me when Jason Statham made that joke about um, like the baseball, like how he's like, "What did you and a baseball have in common?" And he's like, "I don't care about either one of you." And it's just like, that wasn't funny at all. Like what?
Yeah. Oh, dude, there was a bunch of those.
There was
Yeah.
just so much that like I don't know, dude. Like I just feel like the
They
movie didn't
ran out of
understand like
they
these
ran out of
characters
lines.
aren't interesting enough to just be on the screen. Like they're just not good enough to do to just be on the screen and not have to try. Like they're not interesting enough to do that.
Nope.
And I feel like they really thought that like the dynamic between the two of them hating each other was a lot funnier than what it actually ended up being. Like it really
Oh,
just
yeah.
wasn't that funny.
That's what I was gonna say. Is they basically, yeah, like
Milked
you
it.
said, the characters, they milked it. Yeah, the characters weren't worth it, but they're like, well, they hate each other in the other movies, so we're just gonna run with that for 2 hours plus. And it doesn't work. Yeah, it does not work because it's not as funny. They run out of jokes, and like some of the roasts and some of the insults, some of the back and forths are good, but like there's only so much of that you can do. Like there's only
Yeah.
so many original insults you can call each other, like throughout the course of a movie. Like they, like at one point, he calls him like, I don't know, some of the Rock's lines. I wish I would have wrote down some of the specifics because they were corny as fuck. Like some of his like, he's like, "Hey, Jughead," or stuff like that. Like that's good. Like that's better than what some of the stuff he said. But like, I don't know, some of
That's not
his
your
insults.
sister. She's too good looking to be your sister. Or like
That's okay.
he's
That's
like
fine.
I hearing you talk is like just someone like
Yeah,
scraping my balls across broken glass or something. I don't know.
that one's not bad either. Like I could deal with
Maybe
that.
I can
Like,
only remember the good ones. I can't remember
yeah,
what you're talking about, but they just
there's
milked
just
it too much.
scenarios where there's a few scenarios where he just like calls him something and you're like, that doesn't even make sense. But like they like gloss over it. They like it's like keep it moving. But um, never mind. Anyway, you were saying. I keep.
Hated that joke. I just the reference to Game of Thrones is just so weird to me because
Yep. Trendy,
it's just
trendy good.
so forced. Like I don't. I was trying to think of a way. I was like, maybe they just shouldn't like in any movie or TV show or whatever. They just shouldn't mention like huge properties like that. But it doesn't really bother me when they mention it in Spider-Man, and I don't really know why.
Is it referencing old stuff? I don't know. It's more
Maybe
believable.
I Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's more believable because it's like two kids would be into Star Wars in high school, I guess. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe, and they're
Star
nerds
Wars is
too.
just so old. Star Wars is just so old at this point. Like it's one of those
And
everyone
iconic, yeah.
generally iconic. Everyone generally loves Star Wars, but then you're gonna be like, yo, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones. You're like, I don't know, that's just like trendy right now. Like, what if Game of Thrones isn't as iconic as Star Wars is? Like, what if 20 years from now people watch that movie and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. And then I don't know, they just mentioned that too much, and it was just all the references to that show. I was just like, this is just weird, you know. This is just it's weird that you're referencing it. Like it's kind of funny, but it's just weird.
Didn't
Um,
they reference a lot of stuff? I mean, they referenced Game of Thrones quite a bit. I think like Breaking Bad, Italian Job, Back to the Future,
Superman,
Star Wars, Superman. I don't know.
correct?
I feel like they like referenced a lot of other things, and I was like, man, like that's how unoriginal you are if you have to reference like six other movies and then like that you're referencing them. Like, I don't know, like whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Whenever they first like arrived at that building where they're holding the girl hostage, I guess the glass skyscraper, and the troops break through the window and then proceed to open fire on
Yeah,
the
yeah, I
building,
know,
and
I
somehow
know.
The Rock and Jason
Miss.
Statham are in the wide open of nothing but glass and aren't even nicked at all. And it's not like that's unrealistic for a movie because that happens in every movie, but it's just the amount of space and the amount of time that they had to have to get to like cover is a little insane. Like it was like what?
Yeah, no, literally every single one of those henchmen should be fired because, yeah, they entered surrounding them with automatic weapons, training and scopes. Like, obviously, they're trained enough to synchronize a crash through the window,
Yeah.
but they can't shoot two guys in point blank range with no
Point
cover.
blank
Black.
range. Nobody's
No
hurt.
one's hurt.
Uh,
Yeah. Because I looked at, like, literally, I remember that specific scene. I looked at Victor and I was like, yeah, sometimes you miss, like. It's like,
um,
Jesus Christ.
I never understood how they found her. Like it just seemed like, yo, pull up the maps. We've already looked at like all the cameras and everything. Pull them up again. And this time, do exactly what you did
Yeah.
the first time. All right,
No, no,
I'll be
no. He's
back.
like, pull up the spots the camera can't see. That's where she is. She's smart. She's like, oh, okay, cool. But like, where though? Like, there's a few different streets there. And yeah, no, they just find her. And I felt like there's a lot of like Blackbriar Treadstone moments in there
It
as
did
well.
feel a
Like
little bit like that, yeah.
some of their dialogue, I just wanted to be like, they're like yelling like, "Where's the upgrade? Where's the technology?" I want to be like, "Who's running Blackbriar? Are you Treadstone?" Like, I don't know.
She's standing right next to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to do all of that. Real quick, they covered this in Fast 8 or whatever, Fate of the Eight, and they do this in a lot of other movies, but I don't know what else they can do. But it just seems like a lot of these big budget summer movies are they're all about they all have the same plot, like the not even, maybe not the Hunger Games, but like the Maze Runner movies and the fucking Fast and Furious movies, all these movies, Godzilla's. It's all about uh, the next big thing in the world, and most of them either revolve around like Eagle Eye, like security type technology, or some kind of life threatening population control thing. And most of the time lately, it's been like the population control thing. Like there's always like we've seen like a bunch of movies lately, or at least I have, where like
Yeah.
whoever the bad guy or bad people is are threatened or like determined to kill half the world or more or less or whatever to thin out the population and only have the best people left. I mean, that was Thanos' mission as well. So it's like, I don't know, dude, it's exhausting. Like, I feel like Hollywood's like kind of hinting at the fact that we have over 6 billion people in this world and like we need to start killing people or something. But like, I don't know, dude. Like, this population control stuff is getting annoying. And like, I guess it's because money doesn't matter anymore. Like, I guess they're having a hard time like making stuff about like money or greed. It has to be about ruling the world, and I guess the way to do that now is not through money because apparently everybody has it. It's about having some kind of security technology or nuke or
Honestly,
virus.
yeah, but that's so uncreative because you could do so many. There's so many good, like, so many okay or average or just as good or better than this movie, like, little plots that the villain could have. Like, just have him go after the government or something, or have him go after all of, like, MI6 or whatever for screwing him over. You know, let that be his motivation. Like, he just wants to get revenge on those people. Like, have it be about revenge, or have it be about, like saving someone, or, just have him be like a really extremist or something. Like, it's just lazy.
Yeah, yeah. They could definitely just have better character development and just have a guy that's literally like a psycho. Like he just wants to. He's basically a serial killer, like or whatever.
Or,
And
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, let him have no goal. Let him just want to cause chaos. Like, who cares?
Yeah, but
It's
make it
literally the
good.
Heath
Make
Ledger's
it good
Joker, and
act.
he's one of the best villains. So, like, what?
Yeah,
It doesn't matter.
just good acting, good character development can go a long way. But yeah, I'm getting exhausted from these action movies. With the fate of the world situations. Like I'm getting kind of tired of those kind of movies. Like sometimes I wish the fate of the world wasn't at stake. We could just be fighting the bad guy for
Like
something
Ant-Man.
else. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe kind of like that. Yeah, but maybe not exactly that. I want the action to stay. I don't have a problem with the action. I'm just the plot is so typical. Like they didn't even feel like doing it. You know what I mean? That's why I feel like they're just so lazy. They're just like, yeah, you know what's happening, and you've seen this in every other movie ever, every summer. Like we're just doing it with these guys. Like come check this shit out. It was like the Taco Bell of movies. They
I
were just
really wish you narrated that over, like, a really well cut together trailer, and that was, like, their trailer. Like,
yeah,
yeah, guys, we're back again. Here's another movie. We're not explaining it. You know, you're gonna buy a ticket. You're gonna see it. All
yeah,
right, let's just move on.
dude. Prime example of that. Idris Elba or whatever the black
Idris,
guy main guy.
Idris,
What is his name?
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. So the opening, like I don't know if it's the opening scene, but I guess the opening scene of the movie, very early in the movie, when he is first introduced, they were like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Bad guy." It's like, wow, like really, like how lazy does it get? They don't know who he is, and he's like, "Yep, I'm the bad guy. This is the movie." Like just lazy as fuck, dude. That's what I'm saying. They were just like, "Yo, we're putting shit in a Dorito taco. Get down here. Like you got to see this." Like,
Solid analogy. Solid
yeah,
analogy.
like, like who cares, bro? Like, this shit's happening. You're gonna eat it. You're gonna watch it. You know, we don't have to explain it.
And
So,
then
yeah,
I don't know. Like, other stuff that bothered me was, like, he jumps out of that building, The Rock does, and then he, like, falls like 100 stories and,
yep,
like,
yeah,
hits a guy,
yeah,
beats him up, and then falls, like, it's like, all right, I gotta keep falling, and then falls like another 100 stories, hits another guy, beats him up. Then they briefly stop, and then he falls another 20 or 30 stories, lands on top of a guy, completely fine.
yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. All realistic. All of them just fall out of a building, 100,000 feet.
I mean,
All
you don't
land
have to
on
be like realistic, but be like
literally.
something like just believable a little bit. Like I was just like floored with how like,
Yeah,
all right, well, how do we get the Rock from the top of this building to the to the bottom? Let's have him jump out of it and land. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, like literally, bro. Everybody goes flying through the air, and they all just land on glass. Like bodies would be exploding.
Yeah.
Like there would be bones in the air. Like I just, but yeah, the bad guys all land perfectly and don't explode into nothing into pieces. And obviously, The Rock and the other heroes are fine. Everybody just gets up and walks away. And I hate to jump to the end of the movie, but like literally the same thing where that helicopter falls off a cliff
With
and
all of
everybody's
them in it.
fine.
Yep.
Everybody just
Everyone's
walks off.
and we're all gonna just fight some more.
Yep. Yeah, no broken necks. I mean, nobody's wearing a seatbelt or anything. She's flung from the helicopter onto rocks, and she's not totally fine. Not a scratch on her. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then I don't know, just some of the Rock's lines, like he said, "What in the fresh turkey hell?"
Yeah, that's a perfect example. That's why didn't you say that earlier?
I
That's
forgot that.
exactly that's exactly what I'm talking about. I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know, dude. I was like,
Grab
what?
genius it or something.
And he also said, like, me and your sister are gonna do the horizontal hula.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I don't know. Dude, it's been a while since I've literally just looked up at the ceiling and rolled my eyes that much during a movie. Like, I was literally doing that. I wasn't even, like, trying to be funny or anything. I am dead serious. I was doing that because I couldn't believe what they were making him say and just the dumb things that were happening in the movie.
Yeah. You can ask Victor. The whole movie, my head was like, I was like a bobblehead. I was just like, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, 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 no, yeah, of course, yeah. Like, just shaking my head in disbelief throughout the movie. I was disgusted with just, because again, like you said, it doesn't have to be realistic, but like, this is literally insane. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
it's nuts, dude. I mean, it's
But The Rock was still funny. They had a few good lines. They had a few stuff that really hit, and there
yeah.
was a ton of stuff that you've mentioned so far that did not. It was very cringeworthy.
And then they're driving on this road in Samoa, and he is on the phone with Kevin Hart's character, who we'll get to in a minute,
God.
and he they're on the phone, right? And Jason Statham throws the phone out the window, and he's like, "That was my phone." And I was like, "How is there no noise when you have the windows down in the middle of like the Sahara and you're going like 40 miles an hour? There's no noise." And then it's like you're you're only going 40 too, so you could just stop the car and go get your phone. It's probably survived the throw, you know.
Yeah.
It just I don't know, that really bugged me. I was like, just go get it, you know. It's not he didn't just throw it out like into the ocean. I don't know. That just really bugged me. I really couldn't stand that. There's a part where they're driving towards each other with the girl, and the girl jumps out of the car and into the Rock's car
Yep.
while going like 100 miles an hour at each other, and he
Yeah.
catches her, and I didn't know what to do because I wasn't sure that I saw it.
Oh, I mean, that's probably the most realistic part of the movie.
And then there was another part where it was like, all right, time to do some pull-ups, and he sticks his hand out while going like 100 miles an hour, and a guy going like 100 miles an hour at him on a motorcycle, and the like he hits him with his hand and grabs him off the motorcycle. So he punched something that going 100 miles an hour at him, and then threw that guy into a wall with his arm.
Yeah.
Like it was
Oh yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. I know. I know.
I don't
Oh
know.
god.
I need to take a break. But basically, like I don't know. There was a cool scene whenever they were in a chase with Idris Elba and in Jason Statham's car, and like he did like a really cool trick to go around that double decker bus
Yep.
and basically screw him over. And I was like, that's smart because this guy is a monster and he can't be stopped. So you need to outsmart him and you need to get him off his wheels and you can outrun him basically. And like they did that, and I was like, that was cool.
That
Um,
was cool. That was a good part.
And his motorcycle was freaking sick too. Like I loved how it just like morphed around him and always picked him up or whatever and went through those trucks. Like it was awesome.
Yep.
And
That's true.
when he's sliding down that hill and it like picks him up while he's sliding and rolls over, I was like, oh man, that's so sick. So like the motorcycle was like my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, same. I liked the whenever they're like Tokyo drifting between the 18 wheelers and he like molds his motorcycle to like fit through at the very last second.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know. I felt bad for Idris Elba because I was like, they really gave him like nothing at all. Like they like, yeah, show up here and say you're the bad guy. And I really hated how they hinted at this like relationship with him and Jason Statham, who like I don't think we've seen. Pretty sure we haven't seen, and they
no,
never showed it, and they never really went into detail about it. Like
nope, they didn't
Jason
need it
Statham
there.
killed this guy. Why did he kill this guy? They never really talked about it. They just said that that Idris Elba set him up and made him a criminal basically.
And how did they bring him back to life if he shot?
Twice
You
in the
know,
chest, one in the
yeah,
head.
you know how we used to do.
I thought he killed him on purpose. Like he was like bleeding out, and he just wanted to be out of his misery. See, I thought that was going to be really cool, but I didn't. Nothing ever happened.
Dude, I don't know, but this movie had a lot of problems, and you're covering a lot of stuff I didn't even write down here. But I still got other stuff that you haven't said yet either. So yeah, this movie's definitely got some freaking problems here. Do we want to get into Kevin Hart? Do we want to mention that? Honestly, I was pleasantly surprised and disappointed in his appearance. I had no idea he was going to be in the movie, to be honest with you. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that either, and I thought it was really cool to see him pop up, just like Ryan Reynolds. But just like Ryan Reynolds, I feel like they both overstayed their welcome and
Yes.
just sort of lingered too long. Like it wasn't funny the second time we saw Kevin Hart, and it wasn't funny the second time we saw Ryan Reynolds.
Yes, and yes. Yeah, perfect analysis, I was going to say. They fucking linger. Nothing worse than linger. But Kevin Hart, to me, lingered more than Ryan Reynolds. The other thing I was going to say, since you already mentioned his name, Ryan Reynolds, dude, like, could Ryan Reynolds be any more Ryan Reynolds in this brief time that he was in the movie? Like, I feel like the dude's getting typecasted. Like, I feel like he can't do anything anymore besides be
Himself.
be himself or be Deadpool. I don't even know if that's himself. I've never met him, so technically I don't, we don't know what he's really like. But they got him doing like this basically, let's just say Deadpool for argument's sake, or maybe Van Wilder, whatever. They just got him doing this in every movie, man. And like he's done other movies. Like he was, I don't know how he was in Green Lantern. I know that movie sucked, but he did Safe House with Denzel Washington. Like, he's done other stuff. Like I don't know why he has to be this in every movie. Like it's kind of
he was in Waiting. He was a different character in Waiting.
Okay, good. I didn't know. I hadn't seen that. I haven't seen that movie in a long enough time to where I couldn't remember how he behaved in that movie. But it's like they're wearing it out. It's like Kevin Hart, man. It's the same humor over and over again. Like it's not funny.
No.
The sixth time you've seen it, there's only so many ways you can write the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Kevin Hart's problem too. Is like whenever he popped up, I was like, oh no way, and it was kind of funny for a little bit, and then I was like, okay, like can we let's move on, yeah. And then the fact that his name was Dinkley, like I hated that, and all I could think of, well, one, this is the stupidest name ever, and two, it's also the last name of Velma from Scooby Doo. So I feel like they just like saw that somewhere. I feel like somebody just had Scooby Doo on, and they're like Velma Dinkley, and they're like, oh, that's a stupid name. Let's use that for my Kevin Hart character in this, C- movie.
What did you think about The Rock's name being Mike Cocksmall?
Yeah, I like that. I thought that was. I mean, that's a good cock joke. Like, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of penis jokes, but man, tasteful there. It was a tasteful penis joke.
Yeah, it was funny. I didn't see it coming, and I like how he busted him for that.
Yeah. And then he ends up on the plane anyway, and he's talking shit. I liked the dynamic that they had. So I'm trying to get into some positives here. I liked the dynamic they had at certain points. I laughed at certain points. Like, it was kind of funny.
When he says, like, if anything, I'm undercompensating, like, that was a cool line.
Undercompensating. I loved when he was like, hey, man, if your sister wants to climb this brown endowed mountain, like, I'm going to let her climb. Like, I was like, yeah, bro, like, that's what's up. I hated that Dinkley thing. Let's see. What else did I hate?
Try to stay positive. What else did I hate?
Yeah, trying to stay positive here. So throughout the movie, like I feel like every character throughout the movie, including the main characters, were like, we can't get along. You guys can't even get along. Like you can't get along. Like you guys need to work together. I refuse to have a partner. Like they just, oh god, I know we already said milked already, but dude, they milked the shit out of that. It's like, okay, we get it. And like that work together final fight scene was the stupidest shit I've ever seen, because they were already kind of attacking him two at a time, and he was anticipating all of their attacks, dodging all of them, and beating the crap out of them. And all of a sudden they take a knee together and they're like, yeah, man, we can hurt him.
Yeah.
But one of us has to get the shit hit out of us, and then the other guy hits him. It's like, he was dodging y'all the whole time. Why would he not just keep dodging you? But, like, all of a sudden you decide to work together, quote-unquote, and they put it in slow motion, and all of a sudden you're able to get hits off.
They overused slow motion. That really just...
killed it.
Too much
all of it was stupid. Too much slow motion. Too many cuts throughout the movie. Most of the action was choppy as shit.
Yep.
And, like... I don't know. It was so frustrating. Literally, even Idris or whatever his name is, even he was like, actually, his name was Brixton in the movie, so I'm gonna call him Brixton. Even Brixton was like, you guys can't even work together. And it's like, how much breaking of the fourth wall are we having here? Like, I know it's not literally breaking the fourth wall, but I feel like they might as well just had Idris be like, guys, this is your Fast and Furious movie. You're on the movie together. You have to work together.
You want a
Like,
sequel or not?
yeah, like he might as well have said that instead of like what they did. Well, I mean, what they did was the same thing to me as bullshit. They're just like, you guys can't even get along. You know, by the end of the movie, you're gonna have to work together to defeat me. And it's like, yeah, no shit. Anyway, but yeah, I did want to go back. I'm looking at my notes here, so that's why my thoughts are so jumbled. But I want to get back to Ryan Reynolds
Please do.
because I think he's funny. I still enjoyed him in the movie. He was refreshing to have there for that comedic relief, just because The Rock and Jason Statham were having a hard time being funny throughout the entire movie. Again, I thought they were both funny, but it's tough for them to do it for the whole time. But I feel bad for Ryan Reynolds getting typecasted. And also, I mean, can we both agree that he's the bad guy voice recording that was talking to Idris throughout the movie?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, literally every time the deep voice cut out, it sounded like Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
And if it is him, I don't get why he hasn't already messed up stuff more already. He was watching The Rock's daughter, which brings me to my next point. Hated The Rock's daughter. Like, prime example of childhood acting that sucks ass. Alright, so what did you want to say about Ryan Reynolds?
Uh, um, I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know. I was just really excited to see him, but then I couldn't. I didn't like how. I didn't like the references he made. I don't know, dude. It just felt very. I guess maybe because I've seen him in Deadpool, it just felt very PG of like what the things he was saying, and like I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was funny that he got a tattoo of the Rock. That was a positive. Like I thought
That was good. That was
that
funny.
was fun. Like yeah, exactly. It's just like they just overused things, and it makes me feel like they just didn't have enough to put together a 2 hour movie, so they had to make things longer.
Which they didn't need to. This movie could have easily been an hour 45. Like, it was a 2 hour and 15-minute movie.
Yeah, it could have
They
been an
could have
hour
cut out a
45.
lot of it. They could have cut a lot out of it.
I Anyway, yeah, I guess back to my notes here. I
But
don't know.
you agree Ryan Reynolds is probably the bad guy voice recording or whatever?
Probably, and we'll probably see it too because this movie's probably gonna make a dick ton of money. Um,
Oh, God.
I don't know why, but the mom really pissed me off. I thought I don't want to seem insensitive or whatever, but her
What, the
accent was
Samoan
terrible.
mom?
I couldn't understand what she was saying at all,
Yep.
and it was so like cliche and almost cringeworthy of just like we stick together and we look out for each other and forgive your whatever, and it's like, oh, that's all that we needed to do to mend these
For,
bridges is just for you to say that really generic thing.
yeah, yes, thank you. Forgive your hookah, yeah, or whatever they call it. But
That is almost definitely not what she said.
but you reminded me, like, the thing that I hated is, like, Mom, like you just said, Mom is a prime example of that, but the other one, like, throughout the movie, I think The Rock, Jason Statham, maybe even the blonde chick have lines like this where they're like, remember, remember what we used to say as kids, never give up, and it's always darkest before the dawn, and, penny saved is a penny earned. Like, throughout the movie, they, like,
I'd love to see someone try to work that into a movie.
yeah, Darkest Before the Dawn, Ride or Die, Apple Pie, bro. Like, they had all of it. Like, just throughout the movie, they're just like you just said, they're like generic line, and everyone's like, oh, like they're like so moved by it, and you're like, dude, that's the cheesiest shit ever. Like, they said the corniest, most, what is it? Just overused, stereotypical fucking lines. You know,
Yeah.
like
You haven't
just
been
the
home in
worst.
25 years. Your family hates you. You hate your family, basically. And y'all are coming to blows, and then your mom's like, don't ever do that or I'll smack you with my slipper. And look out for each other and remember who you are. I took away the guns because I didn't like looking at them. And it's like, all right, Mom.
Dope.
Yeah, dope.
Okay.
Yeah, dope. This movie's dope.
Dope, Ma. But that's the other thing. So you're reminding me of so many good points here. So the thing I hate about it is all these Fast and the Furious movies are just. And I couldn't
Forgive
believe
your
this movie.
hookah.
Yeah, forgive your hookah. He's your brother. You and your hookah go make
You're my
friends.
brother, Anakin.
I'm trusting you.
Anyway.
You're not with me. You're against me. So anyway, the. Oh yeah, all the Fast and Furious movies did it, and I was hoping this movie would get away from it, but no, they had to shove it in there, and that is like the underlying family crap. Like, oh, it's all about family, and family. Oh, we're together, and ooka booka hookah. You know,
Well
I don't
done.
know. Thanks. I don't know. I can't stand it. Like, I got tired of Vin Diesel preaching about family, and now I have to hear The Rock, Jason Statham, and Samo and Mama like preach about family for 2 hours.
Yep.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, and then they do their stupid tribal dance and they fight people with hand-to-hand combat.
Well, yeah, they disabled the guns. Yeah, that was the other thing, is when they disable the guns, they're like, yeah, do you still have that glove? Okay, good. We can hack into the mainframe. We just have to plug the glove into a USB. We have to, and then we just.
That is not what was said.
It might as well have been, because it was crap.
Put
Like, they're.
the glove in the disk drive and I'm just
Yeah,
running off of that.
put the glove in this disk drive. Give me a floppy disk. Give me a terabyte hard drive and a radio signal, and I can hack into the mainframe and turn off their guns. How long can you do it for? The computer says if I press the X key enough times, it can last 6 minutes. That might be the time we need. It's just everything is just so convenient and so stupid. Like, this movie literally glossed over all of the details. They're just like, "Yep, it's a virus that kills everybody and melts their bones." Ooh. And they're like, "Yeah, we have big guns and fucking God, what were we just talking about?"
Viruses and the computer
No,
that
yeah,
hacks your guns.
They're just hacking the mainframes. Yeah, check the GPS. Oh, look at this map. Yep, it has all the answers in red. Boom, mainframe. Like, I don't know, just a lot of that, and I hate that so much.
Yeah, and what bothered me is like they're going all the way over there because his brother's the best mechanic in the world, but your sister is able to hack the enemy's weaponry and she can't put together this machine again? Is that what you're telling me? Like, you're telling me she can disable all of the enemy's weapons from a glove, but your brother is the one that can put together the machine that's going to save her. The machine that's mainly technology. It's not like it's a I don't even know. It's not like it's a piston in a car or something. It's literally like a computer. So
Yeah,
if she can hack into a computer, she could probably put this thing back together. But no, he has a 3D printer and he can just 3D print these parts again.
I don't know, dude. They had to have a reason for him to go home, obviously, for stupidity. And then the other thing is, Hobbs' character has been in like 3 or 4 Fast and Furious movies at this point.
5,
So
6, 7, 8.
and now Hobbs and Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, how many is that?
5.
So 5. He's been in 5 movies, Fast and Furious movies about cars, car chasing, and he's been chasing the gang. He's been in the gang. He's been all over the world. But yet he did know his own brother had an international body shop, like a world famous international body shop that's probably like
Yeah.
supplying income for all 20 of those fuckers. But he didn't know that. He's like, "What, brother? Like, I knew
Yeah,
you were
all
the
over the
best
world
mechanic."
we're huge.
Yeah, it's like, how would he not know about it then? He was like blown away.
We sold
He
all
was
of our
like
stock in Google, bought heavily in Enron.
a small company, Google, worthless.
Worthless.
Invest heavily in Enron. Go Rick. Let's see what else. Let's see.
How did you like
Telecom?
the he
I
threw
didn't.
the chain at the helicopter
Yep.
to keep it
Yes, and it
anchored to the
tied a
ground, and
perfect
then
knot.
cars proceeded to line up in front of him to make some sort of barrel of monkeys thing. And then to keep the helicopter from taking away, he bicep curled the
Yeah,
chain back to in the truck.
yeah. Honestly, I remember doing that in basic training. I went to ROTC camp, and that was kind of like our third day or something. We did all that.
Third day, wow.
Uh, yeah, third day, yeah. Well, first 2 days were push-ups, but yeah, no, it was insane, dude. That was actually the next point I was going to get to is that final scene. Like, yeah, he just throws a chain, and of course it ties a perfect lasso knot that doesn't come undone the entire time that craziness is happening. And yeah, like all of his brothers are perfectly bumping into each other to hook up each other's car, and all four cars have a different way of hooking up to the
Yeah.
other one. Why would
That
they
are all
design them
perfectly designed
differently?
for only this scenario. Like, why would you
Yeah,
ever need hooks in the back of your car that you could just throw onto another car?
no, of course. Yeah, hooking on the fly. Like I don't know. It's like fishing for cars. I don't know what they're doing, but yeah, they all hook up without wrecking each other at high speeds. Of course, they're hanging off a cliff, defying gravity and logic. And again, how this chain that the rock threw stayed tied to hold that helicopter in place was amazing. And then the fact that they wait till like way later, like after they've almost died like 2 or 3 times at this point, to use their nitrous, and they all use it at different times. Like how that works, I don't know. Like I don't know how they wouldn't just get all like fucked up as soon as
Separated, yeah.
yeah, doing it separated. Um, so yeah, just like that whole scene made no sense. Granted, entertaining to watch and kind of just what you expect of this movie. But I mean, I feel like they just each movie they make, they have to top the previous one. So how ridiculous can it get? Like they just like with the other part where they're like the sister, like they're driving in the car. Jason Statham and his sister are driving in the car, and she's like, "You're running out of road." He goes, "No problem." He like does a 360 and drive up the building. Like what? Or he drives up the pipes, whatever. Like how? What is happening?
That was
Like
actually like maybe the coolest part of the movie, honestly, is when he flips the car to get the bullets to hit the underside of it. Oh yeah, whenever they're flipping upside down in the car and the girl's literally looks like the worst. Like she looks like Baxter from Anchorman. Whenever he gets kicked off the bridge because he's like a doll instead of a dog and it's obvious. Like she's
yeah.
hanging inside the car and her legs are flopping around as if she's Kermit the Frog. Like, and they land so hard and she is perfectly fine.
Of course. And what scene is that happening in?
That's like when they're blowing up the plant and they're leaving like in the dune buggy and he flips the car and then goes off a jump and then as he's like, "Are you ready?" And then she's like, "Oh yeah," and she's not even in her seat. Her legs are out of the car like on the hood and she's like hanging onto the top and like he just lands and her legs like smack up like all, like they literally like they show it. It smacks off the hood and then hits like the top of the car like so aggressively and she like gets back. Oh, great job. Great landing.
Yeah, great. Yeah, no problem. Like I have no knees and ankles and legs right now, but
It
toes
was
dope.
nuts, dude. It was nuts. But yeah, that was like the most entertaining action scene was when like Idris Elba was in pursuit basically and like he just was chasing after them and they were jumping cars and hitting ramps and stuff like that. Like that was pretty entertaining. Like the Rock hit like the e-brake or something, and the truck did like a 360 and just wiped out all the cars that were coming around it.
Yeah,
Like it turned like a, I guess a clock or something, you know, like it just went completely around. That was cool.
yeah, a lot of cool moments. I mean, because that's what I expected of this movie. Didn't have high expectations, but I expected it to have some funny one-liners and some good action, and it technically delivered on that. But there was just a lot of gaps in there.
My final note was that I just loved how in the final scene in the movie, it starts out at night
Yep,
and
that's what I was gonna
then
say.
it turns
Yeah,
to daytime almost immediately
yeah,
and then it
like the next scene.
rains and then it stops
Yeah,
raining all within the course of one chase.
yeah, dude, I was thinking the same thing. It was like pitch black, and then like, yeah, the next cut, they're like, "Are you ready to fight?" And it's like daytime. It's like, what happened?
I wish they would have just kept going and it would have been like they're in a blizzard and then they're just like on a tropical island on the surface of the moon and I don't even know. Like they're just all over the place. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
Oh God, it really doesn't. Well, we had a lot of similar notes. I think you've covered, you've or you've I've covered everything that I have. I do just want to mention one more time that hated the Rock's daughter in the movie, and yeah. What would you rate this movie? Where does this movie fit in on the scale?
One final thought before we get out. I don't know. Just watching this movie, I kind of realized what I really want is like I want something in between this and Mission Impossible. Like we saw Mission Impossible Fallout, and that was like a good
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
But I like how much like how ridiculous this is and how over the top they go for and how I don't know just how I feel like the characters are a little bit better and just how much fun it is. It's just Mission Impossible is very serious and it's very like espionage, but the plot is always solid. Like it's always a good plot and it's
yeah,
always like well thought out and there are great scenes in that too. I just wish it wasn't as serious and wasn't it had a little bit more fun with itself like this movie did. Like I just wish there was something in between that wasn't superhero related.
bro. I would put The Rock and Statham or one or the other, either together or separate, in a Bourne movie. Like
That would be
just
dope.
make them the Bournes or whatever. Like make them part of Treadstone Blackbriar. Like
I'm really
whoever's
hoping
running it.
the someone like described basically the Black Widow movie as basically a female born movie, and I'm like, please, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, like yeah, that would be nice because I just don't. I'm not excited about that movie. I don't see myself like loving that movie unless they do something like that. Like it's going to be
Oh
kind of
yeah,
like we've talked before, Cap 2 or some kind of Bourne movie. Because other than that, like I have a hard time with her being an Avenger anyway. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with that movie. When are we going to talk about Phase 4? I think I've got a screenshot. I've got like screenshots of stuff I wanted to talk to you about. Are we just going to do that for the next episode or?
if you think we can, I mean, I don't have a ton to say on it, so like we could maybe if you want to knock it out in this episode, or if you think it's going to take a while, we could do it later. Because I don't have a ton to say.
Okay. Well, we're gonna do it then.
All
All
right,
right. So
well,
real quick,
yeah,
there's
rate
a
this movie.
what would you rank this movie? Yeah, Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, Sean Hobbs,
Just barely
Shobbs,
low key Garbo. Like
just barely low key.
just barely not Garbaggio because of how much I
Wait,
thought it was going to be good.
what? Why did you think it was gonna be good?
I don't know, dude. Like it just like I was saying, it tries really hard to convince you it's not a bad movie. Like I don't know, it just like The Rock, Statham. You got some great cameos in there. Some of the action's awesome. I like Idris Elba. It seems like they're going for the most ridiculous stunts ever, but at the same time, like they're all boring because of the way that they're cut and the just a ridiculous amount of slow motion used and
Yep.
just the plot makes no sense at all and it just didn't
Yeah, the thought
deliver.
makes sense. It just sucks.
Well, that too, yeah, but it's just like
Yeah.
things don't make sense in the movie, like a lot of things, like a lot. Like I don't know, it's
What's a
just
lot? Like Idris Elba's like background with Statham and that kind of stuff.
that doesn't make sense. The whole stupid cars being able to hold down a helicopter and the
Yeah.
rock being able to curl it and him falling 100 stories and not liquefying when he hits the ground and
Yeah.
I don't know, just stuff like that just bothers me. I don't know. It just like I said, the first like 15 minutes of this movie, I was like, this is gonna be actually a really fun movie. But it never delivered on that. I guess it just fooled me.
You fooled me, Jerry.
Fool.
um, so anyway, I was just gonna give a decent, same as Hollywood, just because I had pretty low expectations for this movie. I didn't even think I was well. I guess I knew I was gonna see it, but didn't really want to. I was afraid I was gonna hate it, and I mean I was pretty disappointed. But at the same time, like my expectations were so low, and like if you made me watch this movie again, like you know what I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like if it was on TV one day, I'd probably watch it. Um, just because of the ridiculousness, and I like The Rock and Statham, but at the same time, it's a pretty poop movie. But again, my expectations for it were so low. So I just give it a decent and kind of, I guess. Now that was the other thing I was going to ask you. Are you going to see Fast 9?
I don't know. It depends on if I don't want to see it based on just like right now. I don't want to see it. Like right now, I'd say no. But if it comes out at a time when there's not a lot of movies playing, and let's say I'm in town and we're hanging out or whatever, like we can go see this movie and do a sode on it. Like, yeah, why not? Or the trailer looks really good. Like maybe. But like right now, no, I don't want to see it.
All right, all right, cool. Me neither. Um, so I pulled up this list. It was like I think it was a list on IGN or something. I don't know if it was their list or maybe it was a vote. It was like a fan vote. I don't know, but anyway, it was people ranking all of the Spider-Man movies, um, all of them except for Spider-Verse. So basically, the two with Tom Holland, the two with Andrew Garfield, and the three with Tobey Maguire.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to hear how it broke down, or do you want to try to predict what's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
7 is.
You can, yeah, okay.
What is the worst one out of all those? What do they think is the worst one? I know what the worst one is. Spider-Man 3.
Nope.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
Okay, number 6 has got to be Spider-Man 3 then.
Nope.
What the hell? Amazing Spider-Man?
Yep.
And then Spider-Man 3 for sure.
Yep. I wanted to
Then
say no, but yeah.
then then Spider-Man 1, I guess.
Hope.
Far From Home.
Yep. And then this is third place now that you're ranking.
I'm
Well,
third.
like you're guessing.
I'm third place. Captain America: Civil War.
What? Oh no, that's not included.
Oh, okay. They include that sometimes, and I'm like, you're wrong.
Yeah, no, that's not included.
Shit.
That would be towards the bottom.
I don't know. I think number 1 is probably Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Number 2 is Homecoming.
Nope.
Damn.
Spider-Man 1 is.
They're wrong, dude. They're wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 1, and then Homecoming, and then Far From Home, and then 3, and then Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2.
What do you think about that list?
I would say, I mean, to me, it's easy to say the top 3 are Homecoming, Far From Home, and Spider-Man 2. Those are my 3 favorites. Everything else, I don't really care.
Yeah.
They're all kind of poop, and I can just watch them here and there.
They're all kind of poop, but I could just watch. That seems to contradict each other, but all right.
I mean, like, I like Spider-Man, so I'm still down to watch those movies, but they're definitely the worst compared to the other 3. Gosh, sorry that's so hard for you to understand.
All right, dude. Let's talk about this phase thing.
No, real quick.
Oh my God, this is gonna be a long episode.
Yeah, we're getting there. Wait, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, real quick. This is the last thing before we talk about that. I've been checking Facebook a little bit more often, just I guess out of boredom, and
how random is this gonna be?
So I hate when people do this. So this person put, just curious, if a turtle loses its shell, would it be naked or homeless? Like, you're not curious. Like, you think you're fucking funny, and you want to tweet this or Facebook this stupid joke for people to go, why did the chicken cross the road? Like, I don't know, dude. I just hate it. I hate that joke, and I hate the person has the nerve to like put this as if they're actually curious. I don't know.
Next thing you know, she's just gonna be like, Ryan Money commented on your post. It's like, oh, what did he say? It's like you don't actually think this is. You don't actually
Oh
care about
god.
this. You're just trying to be funny. Just shut the fuck up, you stupid plant.
Oh god, dude. I would. I saw somebody like say something earlier. They were like, "Oh, like new outfit or something." And I just wanted to be like, "Oh, it looks like shit." Like I don't know. Like, and
I
that's
saw
not what it was.
I saw Jordan say like it was like a before and after like I'm down 20 pounds or whatever, and he was like only 10 to go.
Oh my god.
That's so savage, dude. Oh man.
Oh god, it really is. But I wish I could remember what it was. Like it was so mean, and I wanted to post it so bad. Yeah. Anyway, all right, phase 4. Here we go. Um. So the Black Widow movie we've kind of already touched on. How do you feel about Falcon, the Falcon Winter Soldier? That's what it says. The Falcon Winter Soldier.
Honestly, all those
Oh,
series I'm super skeptical on, but that's because I haven't really seen a really good superhero series. And I've seen a lot of
what,
shitty shows, live
what do you?
action.
Oh, that's a TV show.
Yeah, not a movie.
Oh, is he not getting his own movie?
No. It's gonna be it's gonna be on that Disney streaming service. It's gonna be that and
It's gonna be
then
Sam. It's gonna be Sam.
yeah, it's gonna be the same actors and everybody. And it's gonna be that show, the Scarlet Witch show, um crap.
Oh, WandaVision.
WandaVision, yeah, Scarlet Witch and the Vision. I don't know if they'll bring him back or if it'll just be like times of him in between, like in Civil War and Infinity War, I guess. I'm not sure. Not
Hmm,
sure. I don't know. Yeah, but they got a lot of shows in there. They're not all movies.
that's stupid. So I don't care. I hate shows, dude. I don't want to watch a show. Ah, that sucks. Okay, and then the Eternals might be dope, right?
Might be dope. Like I don't know. Just looking at that list, like it seems very sketchy to me. Like that's just what I get from it. You know, like it
Mhm.
just looks sketchy. Like in terms of they could all be good. Like no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. But
Nice.
like I don't know. Like none of those are really things I'm like dying to see, except for Thor 4. Like Thor 4, I'm so fucking ready for.
Why?
Dude, why
See, I
not?
thought uh, well, because one, I thought he was going to be with the Guardians. Two, they're bringing back Natalie Portman, and it's going to be like She-Thor, right? What if it's whack, dude?
It could be, but it's got the same director from 3, and I love 3, so I'm kind of having some blind faith in him.
No, I agree with that.
So I think it's
What do
gonna
you
be
think it's?
super funny. It might
Do
not
you
be like
know?
great, but it'll be really funny. I'm sorry, what?
Do you know any plot details about it? Like what it's going to be about?
About Thor 4 or whatever?
Yeah.
I know it's like based on like this comic where like Jane basically becomes Thor, um, because like I think he might die or he might be lost or whatever. But I think it's gonna be more of like they're both gonna be Thor for a brief period of time or something. You know, I don't think she's gonna be the Thor moving forward. You know, I think it's gonna be that's just gonna be a plot element of it. You know, like she's able to wield the hammer and she's gonna be Thor for a brief period of time while he's like fighting or he's in trouble or something. You know.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just really pumped for that movie because I feel like it's just going to be another Ragnarok.
Well, excuse me. I hope so because yeah, I really liked Ragnarok. So yeah, hopefully Thor keeps rocking. So I am excited about that. I guess I'm kind of excited about Black Widow. Um, I'm interested to see Eternals and this Shang-Chi Legend of the Ten Rings just because of the fact that I don't know about either one of them and they both just sound interesting. Um,
The Eternals
and
is
then
weird.
Doctor
Like it
Strange.
just seems like a really I don't know, man. It just seems like very hard for me to grasp. Like it kind of seems like too out there for them to nail. It kind of seems something like from Guardians 2 where it's just so weird and out there. So like that's what I'm saying. Like I just look at it and I'm like these are some risky things. Like you're going to do this Shang-Chi person. I've never heard of him. Most people probably never heard of him. You're gonna do a Black Widow movie, and you're gonna
The
do
Hawkeye movie.
Hawk. That's a TV show.
Hawkeye's a TV show? Jesus Christ. So that's just like Arrow then. I don't want to watch that crap. I'm excited for the Doctor Strange movie, though.
Yeah, and it's gonna have Scarlet Witch in it, so that'll be cool.
Ooh.
So
And
she's
and
confirmed for
then
that.
what about Loki? What about Loki? What is that?
That's also a show.
No way.
Yeah, a lot of these are shows. There's 5
And they're
movies,
all the
5
same
shows.
actors?
Yeah,
Like Hawkeye is gonna play Hawkeye in the show? Or what's his name? Jeremy Renner?
yeah. Jeremy Renner. Yeah. The thing about the shows is like I think they're gonna be like 6 to 8 episodes, so they're not gonna be like super long and drawn out. But
I'm still pissed.
yeah, I'm still like I'm not. I don't like watching like superhero shows suck that are live action to me. Like they just suck.
They normally do, yeah.
So I'm very, very skeptical. But I think like I don't know. I mean, I feel like one of those has got to be like really good.
Well, and I know that, I had a few buddies in college that, came their pants all over the Netflix Marvel shows or whatever, so
Punisher's really good.
yeah, exactly. And then and then Blade is a movie,
Yeah,
so I guess that's exciting. How did Marvel get Blade?
they've all. I think whoever made the other one just their contract ran out. Like I think you have to make one every something years, or it goes back to Marvel. And I
But
think they just let that.
Is Blade's a Marvel comic? Like Blade's a Marvel superhero?
Yeah, it's in. He's in the Lego games.
Did not know that.
Yeah,
And then What If?
that's like a show I'm actually looking forward to. That's a show, but it's animated and it's just it takes place like in the quote unquote like in the Marvel universe, but it's literally just what it says. Like it's just what if. Like what if Captain America died? Like what if this? And I think like every episode is just going to be a different scenario of like what if this happened? What if that happened?
Hmm.
And they're going to have the people come back to voice those characters.
Oh, like Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr. and stuff like that?
Yeah, they're gonna voice them.
Ooh. Well, that's hot. Okay, well, I guess I'll try to give these shows a try. I had previously talked about getting the Disney streaming service anyway.
Yeah, I think that either that What If show or maybe the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, if it can be like Captain America 2 but in show form somehow. Like I don't know, I feel like those are the ones that are gonna hit. I don't think the other ones are gonna be anything, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not excited. I'm honestly pretty tired of Loki. I'm not really excited about a Loki show.
Yeah, me too. Same.
I could watch Hawkeye, I guess, if it's Jeremy Renner, but still not really jumping up and down about that either.
hmm I don't know, man. It's kind of whack. It's like I don't know. It's just weird because I feel like so many of these are like really risky.
Yeah, but maybe they're just. I don't.
You gotta take
Yeah, I
risks, I
don't.
guess, because we were probably all saying this when Guardians of the Galaxy was announced. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, but I guess I didn't know anything about it until I saw a trailer, so that was different for me. But I'm just really. I'm not thrown off. Well, actually, I am thrown off by some of the choices, but I guess the fact is TV shows too, and the fact that they're doing. I thought they were just doing Black Widow. I didn't realize Loki and Hawkeye were going to get some attention as well. And again, just the whole TV aspect. I just don't get if they're already making killer movies. Then I guess they were already doing shows as well, but the shows just weren't related. Now I feel like the shows are related, and like I feel more obligated to watch them when I may or may not want to. And I feel like they have infinite characters. Like, why not just make more movies? But I guess that's doing the same thing over and over again. So that's where the risk thing comes into play. But
I
I
prefer
agree
just
with you.
movies,
It might be
honestly.
the same. It might be too risky, and I don't feel like watching shows.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm still watching The Sopranos, and Entourage, for God's sake. I'm pretty behind.
So
So
you'll get to these shows in about 2072.
yeah, whenever they're not relevant, and they look worse than they do now.
Okay, good. That's just in time. It'll
Yeah, I
keep you from
guess.
getting any uglier. Just in time.
Oh God, that is so funny.
I don't know. If you had to pick one to be like super like excited for, what would you pick?
Phase 4.
Yeah.
I mean, either Thor, or honestly Shang-Chi. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, I'm kind of hoping, like, in my head, I'm picturing like some badass Asian ninja sword, I don't know, just some kind of shit. And
Wouldn't it
like,
be
I'm
awesome
just,
if like Jackie Chan was 20 years old and he could just be in that movie?
yeah, exactly. I'm kind of hoping they find a new one of these days. Like, I'm sure there's one out there. Um, so anyway, yeah, I don't know that. I would say Thor is the obvious answer, but then I would say after that, like, I'm kind of feeling this Shang-Chi business, because I mean, it's a movie. It's about something I haven't heard of. Like, that's what I liked about like Ant-Man and Guardians. Like, they're just taking something that's not that popular and like introducing it to me,
Hmm.
and they got good actors to do it, and it's a lot of fun. But oh well, because it's nice having a fresh story too. Like,
It
you know,
is, yeah.
we've seen Batman and Superman and Spider-Man. We've seen all these people over and over again, and you know, it was fun learning about Captain America, Iron Man, and everybody else. And now they're played out. Let's learn about some new people.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good point.
But whatever, we'll see.
I also want to give, before we get off here, I don't know if you saw that movie or that trailer for the movie The Kitchen with Melissa McCartney.
Yeah, dude, that movie looks like a
Terrible.
movie that I would be interested in terms of like plot. But
Yeah.
yeah, like the cast looks awful.
It's based on a DC comic.
How?
It's just, I don't know, it's based on a DC comic, which I thought was funny because it's got Common in it. And Common was already a gangster in Suicide Squad.
And they were like, "You were so bad in this first one. Let's do it again." Like, can you play it bad? That's kind of what we're going for. We want not good.
Follow your nose. Follow your nose. I was gonna say, good like an actor, but your way's good too.
Exactly.
All right, man. I think it's time to get out of here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen and Zimzers. I forgot I was trying to be more gender inclusive. I almost left it at ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, good people, loyal listeners, keep interacting with us on Twitter. We love it. We love what you have to say, and we love responding to it. So let's keep doing that. And Reagan, yeah, make sure you go see Hollywood at some point so we can do a follow-up episode. Be on the lookout for follow-up episodes to things we hate and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And if you're lucky, they might be in the same episode. So, boom. Any final thoughts, Reagan, before we get out of here?
Uh, no. I'm glad we dumped on this movie a lot. That was fun.
Yeah, nothing like taking a good dump. For Reagan Horton, I'm Ryan Money. You guys have a great night.
Like my grandpappy always said, us assholes gotta stick together.